Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So for today's video, I thought we would do part 2 of my top 3 in every category, which is going to be eyes and lips. Obviously less products than I have for the face in these two categories, lips and eyeballs. So yeah, I thought I'd merge them together and we do it in a oneer. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm really sorry the light's going to change a lot today because it's like sunny with some clouds scattered, just in case you wanted the forecast as an extra bonus for you. But it will, obviously, now we're going cooler, and then when the sun comes out, everything gets a bit warmer. But that's what we have to kind of, the trade-off of working with natural daylight. So I wouldn't have thought it's going to be a problem in the winter, to be honest. That'll be like nice and gloomy every day. So starting with the eyes, or the eye area, I should say, because I'm going to talk about brows first. Now, I have nothing on my brows today. These are some very freshly laminated eyebrows that I have going on. So I have no pencil, no gel, no nothing. They've just were laminated a week ago, so very fresh. I'm obsessed with brow lamination, could not recommend it highly enough. If you just want to have more control over your brows, then do what you say. If you're like me, you're someone who finds like brow gel just doesn't cut it, they never quite look or stay how you want them to, where you want them to. Brow lamination is chef's kiss. But once my brows start to fade, because they also tint them in the lamination process, so they are like more dark, they are more vibrant, darker, closer to my hair color. So once the tint starts to fade, then I will bring in a little bit of pencil, and this is like by far it for me when it comes to brow pencil. This is the Huda Beauty, is it Bomb Brows? Bomb Brows. I use the shade Black Brown, which is a nice neutral tone, nice and dark but not too dark. I just love this pencil because it is the tiniest little applicator you have ever seen in your life. It is minuscule, absolutely tiny. So it is perfect for little hair strokes at the front of the brow. My brows, I've been working on growing them back. I've been getting them laminated, so I have a decent amount of hair now, but they're like, they don't grow as much as I would like in the center. So I just use this to do a few little hair strokes in the center, and as the lamination wears off, I start to use this pencil a little bit more. But it's my favorite brow pencil of all time. Now, as far as like products to hold my brows in place, there's two that I still currently use. First up is the ABH Brow Freeze. I had a real love affair with this before I laminated my brows. This was it. It was the only stuff that could get my brows where I want them and keep them there, and I really liked the look of it. I like that I can make them fluffy and natural, and it really gave me like the laminated brow look. But now that I have my brows laminated, the Benefit brow gel, which I've never got on well with before, like I've said, I'm sure I've said to you guys, I like thought it was really overrated, and it's not. It's just that it didn't really work for me because obviously my brows were just really stubborn and strong, perhaps strong-willed. They refused to do what they were told and stay there. But since I had them laminated, as the lamination kind of wears off, so that's for like 5 or 6 weeks for me, and I can't get them redone till 8 weeks. That's kind of their recommendation, how long you should go between laminations. So in those last few weeks when like the lamination's starting to wear off, I start to use this brow gel, and it works perfectly now that they're laminated. They're a bit easier to control. They obviously have a little bit of hold left at the end of the 6 weeks to 8 weeks kind of mark. There's still a little bit of lamination, but it's just not as much as it is now. And this just does it for me. It keeps them in place, it separates and gives me that fluffy look, which I really like. And now that my brows have a little less fight in them because of the lamination process, this does do it for me. Now I get it. Now I get why people like it, because obviously my brows were just, could not be kept down or up. You know. So now for eyeshadow palettes. Now, as you can imagine, this was incredibly hard to pick just 3, but I mean, 1 or 2 of these was quite easy, but the third one, I mean, it could have been one of like 10 palettes. So if you're expecting it to be a different one, I had like 10 4th places, but this is like my current top 3. Obviously this kind of changes with moods and with seasons and with things coming out, but currently these are my top 3 favorite eyeshadow palettes. We'll start with the most obvious that's still there and has been there for a long time now, and it's Divine Rose 2. This is just speaks to me, like on those days where I'm not filming anything. I don't need to do a tutorial. I'm not doing a specific type of look or filming for something. This is like the palette that I just want to use. It just is so gorgeous and it's so me as far as the shades. It never lets me down. Every time I use it, it just gives me joy, and I always love the look that it gives me. I'm sure you've seen her before, but just in case you haven't, there she is in all her glory. It's just got everything that I need. It's got subtle, soft, understated neutrals. It's got some beautiful pinks and a little pop when I want something a bit more. I just live for it. And the shift in that special shade down here, living. From a bit of like a one extreme to the other as far as colour story, number 2 is Biba from Natasha Denona. Just for me, the absolute ultimate dream of like an everyday soft, neutral, natural, basic, whatever you want to call it, eyeshadow look. This has literally everything and then some in it that you could possibly ever want or need. My recommendation would be to save up for this and then wait for a sale, and don't ever buy any other neutral palette ever again. You will never need another one. This has absolutely everything you could ever need. Cool, neutral, warms, every single transition shade for every single skin tone. It's got lid shades. It's got some shimmer if you want it. It's got an absolute stack of mattes, which I love. And it's so flattering. The formula is very easy to work with. It's got a lovely big mirror in there. It's got a nice size packaging. It's just special, you know. And yes, it is expensive, but I feel like a lot of us, I know I did, will buy like 4, 5, 6 of these types of palettes and they never quite tick all of our boxes. But that one, it's like one palette to rule them all. Can you tell I watch Lord of the Rings at the weekend? The precious. Whoa. Every time. And in third place, probably the trickiest one, because I feel like it's the newest like in my collection that really has tickled my pickle, and 2, it just had a lot of other competition for a similar type of vibe. But I've gone with this one because it is like my new fave, and it's the eyeshadow that I've got on today, and it's Natasha Denona's Retro Midi. I mean, this just is me. I am a bit boring. I am, especially when it comes to makeup, I stick to like what I love pretty much. If I'm not going with like neutrals, I go for this exact colour story. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel like Natasha Denona is queen of the colour story. I think she does colour stories better than anybody else. This speaks to me so much. Whenever I'm like, a bit like the Divine Rose 2, at the moment, it's all I want to put on my eyes. And yes, it is new and shiny. So there's a bit of, you know, just wanting to use it because she's new and it's a new shiny toy. But that's what I didn't feel. That's what I was missing from the Utopian Dream palette from Pat McGrath. I know a lot of you guys were really surprised that I sold it and it just wasn't really tickling my pickle, floating my boat. But I just didn't really feel like I was excited to use it, even though it was brand new. Whereas this one, every time I'm sitting down to do my makeup since it arrived, I'm excited and I want to play with it because the shades are just so pretty to me. She's just an absolute dreamboat, just so soft and pretty and feminine, and it's just actually quite versatile as well, because these sort of shades like these up here that kind of give you something a bit neutral, cool, some smokiness in there. It's got a lovely balance of shimmer and understated and satin and bling as well, depending on how you're feeling, and just a perfect number of mattes to shimmers as well. The formula is incredible, and it's my favourite ever palette from Natasha Denona in this size. Actually beat out the Glam palette for now. We'll see. Sometimes I go back and forth, but at the moment I'm just absolutely in love with it. It's just exactly what I want. Yes, it's not flashy. Yes, it's not super colourful or something mega new, but it just does this thing that I love and live for better than any other palette. So let's talk about mascara. As you know, like desert island item for me. I cannot live without mascara. I never wear fake lashes. I just don't like them. I just find them tricky and a pain in the bum. But mascara, that's my jam. So let's start off with the one that's on my lashes, the one that became like my holy grail. Was it last year? It was some amount of time ago. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Push Up Lashes. This just does everything that I want a mascara to do. It lifts them, it separates them, it gives me drama, but in a different way to what I'm used to and what I previously loved, that thick, almost clumpy looking, fat, volume, fake looking lash. This kind of does things slightly differently. Lashes are a little more separated. I end up with more of them that have more of that like spiky look, which I have always been a fan of before, but I've never found any mascara to do it quite as beautifully as this one does. I love this mascara more than any other on the lower lashes as well. It's just perfect because it's got that tiny sort of very thin wand. Is so clever for like swiping lashes up and getting a lot of mascara on in a quick amount of time and combing through. It's just perfect for those lower lashes because you can use that tiny little one, get right in there, and it doesn't dump too much product on them and leave you looking crazy or touching the skin. You can get really close to the lash line with that flat side, and it's one that I find it lasts 4 months. Like, it performs beautifully day one. I don't have to wear it in like some mascaras. Beautifully day one, beautifully literally like 3 or more months this will last me. I think this is my 3rd one now and I'm obsessed. It lasts beautifully for so long. One of these, you don't have to refresh it. It doesn't get better and worse throughout its life. I'll literally use it until it's gone and be obsessed with it every single time. Definitely without a doubt now my holy grail mascara. Now, a mascara I don't have a fresh one of right now, but my kind of second place I would say is the McGrath Dark Star. I have ordered a new one with some of the new items that I picked up from her holiday collection, so I've got a new one on its way, but it hasn't arrived yet. But this mascara, it just gives me the big fat fake looking, slightly clumpier look. You know what I'm talking about, those really fat lashes. Very different to this one, but when I want that thick, fat, dramatic lashes, if I'm going out or I've just got a lot going on my eyes and I need my lashes to kind of like compete with it, that is it for me. If you're looking for the biggest, fattest, most dramatic lashes, that one wiped the floor with Lancome Monsieur Big like last year whenever it came out. I can't remember any dates anymore, just like every day has rolled into one over the last couple of years and I've no idea what happened when. And then in 3rd place, a new contestant for the last few months is the Bite Beauty mascara. So this came out here, I mean it's been out for ages in the US, but Bite Beauty was never previously available here. It's now stocked at Boots, which is such a win. Boots are just killing it with their new brands in the last couple of years. They're just smashing life. Every single brand we've been wanting are now at Boots except for Tatcha, but that's another story. This mascara definitely is like similar to the Pat McGrath, more along those big fat lash lines. I think this one is great. I love this sort of hourglass wand because you can get really beautifully even coats through every last lash from the inner to the outer part of the eye, and it's just really easy to get nice and close to the lash line. This is definitely like a 3rd place for me because it just doesn't last as well as the Charlotte Tilbury and the Pat McGrath. Both of those last like from the first to the last day, and I do find this one starts to let me down definitely earlier than I would have liked to. About the 1 month mark, I start to not love it as much as I did when it was fresh. So that's just like the slight drawback, but it's when it's fresh, it's beautiful. And I love it just as much as the Pat McGrath, but it definitely loses its like perfection earlier than the other two. So now for liners, this one I'm wearing in my waterline today. This is the Milk Makeup BCC liner. So it's that cream color that's going to really brighten and open your eyes and make it look like you actually slept last night, when I absolutely did not. Yeah, this liner it's the perfect color. It's not white, it's like a cream, so it's a bit more natural than putting a white in your lower lash line, or waterline I should say. So you can see it there, it's almost the same sort of tone as my skin. And if everything's just looking a bit dark and just a bit dull, or maybe you've got some shadow there and things like that, this is just going to brighten and open up your eyes and make you look very well rested, and just, you know, help you lie about that. Now, I don't know what's going on with these because they're very, very hard to get anywhere. I don't know if they've been discontinued, but my heart will be broken if they have. So if you know what's gone on with these and why they're so hard and out of stock everywhere, please let me know. Because it's like the longest wearing, the black shade as well I have, which I use for my upper waterline, and that one is, again, they're so long wearing, they don't smudge, they don't disappear after an hour or so, they don't hurt your eyes. So yeah, I'm really hoping they aren't going anywhere. Let me know if you know. If you know, share the knowledge. So next up, a liner that I use on, like, for a wing situation is the Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. This formula, I mean, I had to like just touch really gently there. This is just, you know, with something like the Retro palette, use this to do a wing. Oh, delightful. And if you suck at wings and you find wings really terrifying and really hard and tricky, using a pencil much easier than like a liquid liner or a gel liner or anything like that. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, this, I mean, it's just a dream, the formula, because it glides so easily that, you know, eyes are tricky. If you've got hooded eyes, if you've got more mature eyes and you've got all bits of skin just getting in the way of you doing a liner, you need the liner to glide and not tug. And this one does beautifully. It's the perfect like berry color. It's going to go with all of those sort of pink and purple looks and just give you a gorgeous like emphasis to the eyes. You can just tight line with it as well. You could use this on your waterline as well, but that's just how I like to use it for a wing. It's just the perfect color. Any pink, any purple eyeshadow look, this is just gonna add a little je ne sais quoi. And last up, the only liquid liner that I can possibly use, and it's the KVD Beauty Tattoo Liner. This is like a felt tip type of liner. It just has the finest point and the perfect amount of like flex versus stiffness to the tip, so you can use it and it's not going to be like hard and, you know, apply too much. You can really flick out with the tip, but at the same time it just has enough flex where you want it and enough firm control where you want it. And I am not an expert, I'm not amazing at wing liner, but with this I feel confident that I can do a decent one and it's not going to smudge, it's not going to move, it's very easy to use. It's also very easy to use a really fine line if, like me, if you have hooded eyes, if you don't want to take up too much lid space. It's the only one really I've ever found actually I'm confident to do a winged liner with without making it look absolute trash. So that is the entire eye category. We're moving on to lips now. I'm going to start off with liners. So the liner I used today, this is Max Hover, and I picked this up on recommendation from Lisa Eldridge. I can't remember, I think this was recommended as a liner for a fair, one of her nude lipsticks. So that's why I got this one, because I thought, oh, I was struggling to find the perfect liner to go with that lipstick. And this one was like absolutely spot on. But since I picked this up, it's spot on with every single nude lipstick. If you have a lipstick that is a bit too light for you, so a good example is Charlotte Tilbury's Runway Royalty, which when I picked it up I was like, that shade was definitely a bit too light for me. It's definitely giving a bit of like foundation lips. I definitely need a liner. This liner made me love that lipstick, and I tried it with another one that I'm going to talk about in a minute and it just didn't quite work. If you have a lipstick, a nude that's a little too light, Hover from MAC is going to change your life. It's just every lipstick that I'm like, it needs something, it needs a bit of help for it to work for my skin tone. This is the one. It's just perfect. It goes perfectly with Lisa's Affair. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So the other nude that I really like is Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is definitely a bit lighter than Hover and it has a bit more pink versus I'd say Hover is a bit more brown. Here they are together. So this is Hover and this is Iconic Nude. So if I'm not looking for a liner that's actually going to like make a lipstick work or deepen it, or the nude lipstick that I'm wearing isn't sort of a deeper nude, like something like Lisa Eldridge's Affair. But I want a liner that's just going to give me some definition to a nude lip. This is like, again, it's one that goes with pretty much every lighter nude lipstick that I have. It's not going to give me a deeper outline. It just is going to give me a border. It's going to be giving me a nice crisp outline. The formula of her liners are amazing, and it's just a staple that I love to have around, because it's, if Hover doesn't do it, Iconic Nude will. And lastly, ribbon liner from Lisa Eldridge. You know me, I love a bright red, I love an orange, and this liner, oh, I mean, any of the shades from her liner, they're such good liners. I love the packaging, but they're just so smooth and glide over the lip line. This one I love because I love that whole ribbon set with the lipstick, the liner and the gloss. It just works perfectly. But this also, I think it's really good to have a very good red lip liner in your collection, because reds are very tricky to apply without a line, especially if you're me, especially if your lip line is not super defined anymore, and you just need a bit of help to give you a beautiful crisp outline of your lip. A red liner is like a staple for your collection if you ever are going to wear a red lipstick, or a sort of richer berry or an orange. This is going to work with a lot. I find it very versatile, and the formula is chef's kiss again. So we have ribbon, Iconic Nude and Hover, my top 3 liners. Now, before we go any further, I have a confession, and that is that I've definitely cheated when it comes to lipsticks. I mean, please tell me 3. You want me to say 3. Impossible, never going to happen. So what I've done is 3 nudes and 3 brights, and even then these are loose top 3s, okay, a bit like the eyeshadow palettes. There were definitely like 100 others I could have included here, but these are like the ones that I felt like were solid choices. So let's start off with the brights because they're fun, and first up it's Pat McGrath's Obsessed. And I know I'm not the only one. You guys were obsessed with this as well. When I wore this the first time in a video, you were all desperate to know what I had on my lips. I posted a photo with it on, and you guys just lost your minds and were like, I need it. I need to get my mitts on that one. I said before that I bought this after seeing Morgan Turner's video lip swatching all her Pat McGrath lipsticks that she picked up in the sale, and I was like, I need to have that. What I love about it is in Pat's matte formula, but it is definitely more of a satin. It's definitely got some shine, but the pigmentation and the formula of this is life. It's just so opaque. The finish is incredible, just really lovely shine. It's so comfortable, and it's just the perfect bright orange red. I'm obsessed with Obsessed. Next up, a Lisa Eldridge lipstick that is potentially my favourite of all time from her, maybe even more so than Go Lightly. I thought about including Go Lightly here, but it's tricky because I wouldn't necessarily class it as a bright. On me, it's actually quite kind of soft, and it's also like, who knows when it will ever come back, although this one I think is also sold out at the moment, but it might be slightly easier to get hold of than Go Lightly. So this is Atomic Cherry, and this is in her Luxuriously Lucent formula, like my favorite lip formula of all time. It's just what I live for. It's got this buildable formula. You can see I did a lot of passes there, and it goes from super sheer, like almost balm like, up to like a medium coverage. So shiny and juicy and spring summer joyous. It's just so flattering and comfortable, and just I love these types of finishes, these glossy, healthy, plump, youthful, smooth, juicy lips. This is like what I live for. You can see the difference in finish there, as well as a massive difference in opacity. It kind of looks like this is super sheer, but once it's on your lips and you build up and up, you can definitely get a beautiful, bright lip, and it's just so flattering and not scary because it isn't so opaque. And last but not least, we've got to talk about this bad boy, the Jimmy Choo. I mean, what's this called? I think it's just called Coral, isn't it? I don't know. Coral Kiss, this is. So this is my Jimmy Choo lipstick. Very much treasured. The snake skin, though, I mean, it also smells of Parma Violets, and I live for it. But this, This is like a cross between the other two. So it's got that same mega opacity and pigment as Obsessed, but it's got the sheen of Lisa Eldridge. So it's like these two had a baby. So this is definitely more of an orange versus like a red, but it's the shine. The shine is just gorgeous, and the opacity for such a shiny lipstick, I think it's stunning. Yes, the packaging is insane, but for me, I want it to have some substance to it as well. I enjoy the packaging. That makes me just fall in love with it even more. But if the product inside was actually very average, then it's a bit of a letdown, especially in such a beautiful packaging. But for this, it's like the product actually lives up to the packaging, which is a good thing in my book. So now let's move on to the nudes. Let's start with the one that I've got on my lips. This is Velvet Affair. I paired this with MAC's Hover Liner and also a gloss that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But this along with one other, I mean, I feel like actually as far as my nudes, I feel like these solidly are my top 3 favourite nudes. The brights, I have lots that I love just as much as these 3. Those 3 kind of stand out to me for different reasons at the moment. Whereas these nudes, I feel pretty confident that I could tell you these are like my top 3 nudes. So Affair from Lisa Eldridge is the only matte in the 3 that I'm going to talk about, and it's my absolute favourite matte, probably matte lipstick in general of all time. I like the bullet mattes more than I like a liquid matte because they're more comfortable, but the opacity, the formula, the comfort of the formula. This colour though, it's just perfect. She released another nude first, I can't remember the name of it, but it was just a little light for me, for my skin tone, for my preference, and when I saw this one, I knew it was going to be perfect. It's got that sort of caramel tone that I love and live for, and I can wear it all year round, and it's just perfect. And with Hover Liner, come on. Another nude that I absolutely live for, but a bit more of a sort of luminous finish, and this is Nude Romance from Charlotte Tilbury. You guys, again, you know how much I love this one. It's quite similar when you see it swatched next to Affair, but you can already see the shine difference. That's the difference. That's the key difference. This kind of gives me what Affair with some gloss does by itself, with a little less opacity, but again, a very flattering tone and shade for me. An absolute like all day, every day staple. I will repurchase that shade happily time and again. And last but not least, another Luxuriously Lucent from Lisa Eldridge. I wasn't joking when I said this was my favourite formula, and this is Kitten Mischief. An absolute delight and a joy. Again, that buildable formula that starts off quite sheer and you can build, and it's just because of that slightly less opaque quality that it has, that opaque coverage, it's more of a like light to medium sheer to a medium buildable, however you want, apply as much or as little as you want. For me, it's like perfect sort of school run territory. I just want to whack something on my lips, you know, maybe I've been running around wearing makeup, maybe I've been filming, but I don't want to go with like full glam or bright, and I'll like switch up my lip, and something like that, it's just so understated but flattering and beautiful and will just go with everything, but still is a bit like your lips but better. So here we have them: Affair, Nude Romance and Kitten Mischief. Just it for me. As far as nudes, this is where it's at. And then for the final category that we have for you today, it's gloss. Again, let's start with the gloss that I have on my lips. Of course, it's Lisa Eldridge's Affair gloss, goes with the lipstick, and I love it just as much. What I love about this gloss is it's nude enough that it will go with any nude lip without sort of really changing, you know, the colour of it. You can put it on top of a lipstick and it's not going to necessarily change it that much, but enough colour that you can wear it on its own. So if you don't want a lipstick and a gloss and a liner and the whole shebang, hello, hair and my eyelash, you can just go with this gloss and it's going to give you enough opacity, enough colour that you don't need a lipstick underneath, but it's going to give you that beautiful, hydrating, juicy, comfortable, glossy shine, perfect amount of shine, all shine, no glitter, exactly how I like my glosses, no stickiness, Gorgeous packaging, the perfect colour. It is a fair in gloss form. Sometimes I wear it on its own, sometimes I wear it over any nude, and it just gives me the shine without changing the colour too much, without too much opacity, without any stickiness, without any glitter. That's all she wrote. Another, I mean, is this a gloss? I guess so. It's called Gloss Bomb, so I'm going with it. And it's Fenty's Honey Waffles. This is the Gloss Bomb Cream. A bit like Lisa's, as in it's not sticky and it has enough coverage that you obviously can wear it by itself because it's kind of designed in that way. But you could wear it over the top as well of a lipstick. This is like a very different colour for me and why I like it. It's very warm, very caramelly, very, very shiny as well. You can see it's a bit shinier than the Lisa Eldridge. Very like mirror shine. Again, no glitter, all shine, not sticky, very comfortable. Smells like coffee. Does that anyone else? Smells like caramel macchiato or like a frappuccino with a caramel shot in. I don't know why I thought you'd want to know that in so much detail, but it smells delightful and it's just a super unique caramelly gloss. And again, I love a gloss I can wear by itself because I've never really been someone to like do a liner and a lipstick and a gloss, although I did today, but that was just to be helpful to show you the products. But just a gloss that's got enough pigment, I'm getting into it. I'm starting to be here for it. And last, but by no means least, exactly, this is the Loubigloss. So this is the shade, I don't know if I know the shade. I will have the shade, I'll put the shade here somewhere because I know I can find out, but it's not on here anywhere. Obviously this packaging is an absolute joke. But the pigment, again, like the Jimmy Choo, do I love this packaging? Does it encourage me to want to buy something like this? Of course it does. Oh, again with the smells, they always smell delightful. But the pigment of this gloss is a madness. Do you see that? Do you see it? I feel like a shiny glossy red lip this year was like a big trend, and that's why I picked this one up, because I just, from swatches and everything, genuinely, although I liked the packaging, this appeared to be like it for a glossy, shiny, opaque red lip. And oh my days, the formula is like as nice as the packaging. So let's show you. Do you see the opacity of this? I hope the camera is doing this justice because it is fully opaque. You do not need a lipstick underneath because it is fully opaque. Like, this is punchy. This gloss has some pigment in there, let me tell you, and I hope you can see there. It's just really vibrant and you do not need a lipstick under here to get that beautiful red glossy lip. This can do it all by itself. So there we have Honey Waffles and Lisa's Affair gloss, and I think you can see actually how different they are when you see them close up like that. But I mean, yes please. I will say I also love Lisa's Ribbon gloss as well. That's probably a 4th place, but to be honest, I feel like with these glosses I'm talking about the formula. The shade is going to be whatever shade you like the most, but the formula of these glosses are unbeatable. So there you have it. Those are my top 3. This is my part 2 in my collab with Tati Westbrook that only the one of us knows about continues. Let's see what and who I can collab with next without them realizing I exist. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.